Sydney Sweeney is a great actress. And I will say this is probably my favorite performance out of hers, besides Anyone But You and besides... Sydney Sweeney definitely had 4 different movies under her belt last year. This is the second of the 3 that I saw. What is going on, my Epitastic Nation? This is Epitastic Joshua here. Welcome back. If you're a returning member, if you're a new member, welcome. This is going to be my thoughts in my review of the biographical drama Christy, directed by David Michaud and stars Sydney Sweeney as the title character. Christy Martin never imagined life beyond her small town roots in West Virginia until she discovered a knack for punching people. Fueled by grit, raw determination, and an unshakable desire to win, she charges into the world of boxing under the guidance of her trainer and manager turned husband, Jim. But while Christy flaunts a fiery persona in the ring, her toughest battle unfolds outside of it as she confronts family, identity, and an abusive relationship that just might become life or death. To be honest, I did not know anything much about Christy Martin. All I knew was that they were doing a movie about it, and I just looked up and see who was all involved. And the director is David Michaud, which I think he is a very capable director from the one movie I seen of him, which was The King in 2019. And I thought that was a nice little historical epic. I went into it curious because, one, I'm a sucker for biographical dramas like this. 2, I love a good sports boxing movie, and despite them not doing the best nowadays, I still think that I still have a soft spot for this. Not only that, I'm a fan of Sydney Sweeney, if that is not any more obvious. I don't give a fuck about her haters trying to cancel culture. Twitter users, go screw yourselves.
Hey, Mr. Simpson, would you please...
Shut up, Judge!
Shut up! Stop it. Get some help.
I went on into it, and a lot of people were hyping this up as to be a big thing for her, as she would probably get Oscar nominations for that and such. They hyped it up despite the mixed reviews, saying her performance was the best thing about it. Even people going on to be toxic as hell, like Ruby Rose, complaining that she didn't get the role for such. Which, Ruby Rose, you're not that good of an actress anyway. The closest you ever came to being a good actress, Ruby Rose, was John Wick Chapter 2. Having seen this movie, which it took me until last December to watch it, it's a damn shame that this movie did not get the respect or the attention it deserved, because I actually think this is a damn great film. Now, is it one of the greatest sports movies of all time? I'm not hyping it up that way. It's no Rocky, it's no Creed, and it's definitely no Karate Kid. But for an underrated gem of 2025, I think this movie should not have taken the elusive beating that it did. Biggest positive I will give is, once again, Sydney Sweeney does a great job in the role. Again, going all the way back to Euphoria and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Sydney Sweeney is a great actress. And I will say this is probably my favorite performance out of hers, besides Anyone But You and besides her performance in Euphoria. I think she does a great job here. Because here she's not putting on the Sydney Sweeney have to play the hot girl parts. This is a much more vulnerable, a much more transformative performance from her in the role of Christy Martin, which she worked hard to do this. She learned to fight like a wrestler, and she's also trained into a bit of karate herself. This is something that we usually don't expect out of her. Her having to play a very important wrestling figure that not many people know. she does a really good job here in the boxing scenes. But when it's come times to do a dramatic performance, and when it comes time to hit the emotional beats, unfortunately, she is shut out of the Academy recognition, which, shame on you. You even shut out Superman for best makeup. As far as the fight scenes goes and the mannerisms go, she gets it down packed to a 100%. And you can tell that Sydney Sweeney is pretty passionate about taking this role and wanted to do Christy Martin justice. Ben Foster, who is just as great as the husband of Christy, and he's good in this movie. I've always thought Ben Foster was a great actor. I think the guy is a good actor, and he has shown how great of an actor he can be. And here, he is extremely hated and hateable in this movie as the husband. Even to the points where you do see the abusive side of him, and this movie does not shy away from that. Brett Weaver, you have Katie O'Brien, Ethan Embry, and Chad L. Coleman. They're also pretty good in this movie as well. They all give their good performances, whether their screen time was large or small. David Michaud does direct this with a lot of flair and a lot of passion, and through his directing, you're able to see the story about the rise of her to the abusive angle from her family to her husband. Where the movie takes this abusive angle, some of you are gonna be put on off by that, but it is a rewarding experience once you get to the complete end of the movie and she gets herself out of that. Considering that I've gone on record in some of my videos or live streams to say that I cannot deal with violence against women, there are very few movies where I can tolerate that. There are very few shows where I can tolerate that. It's necessary for the story. With some exceptions, if it's necessary for the story to get a revenge or a payoff to where someone gets out of that situation, not big on violence against women.
The fuck is wrong with you? You think this is a joke? You think this is a fucking sitcom?
I said it before, I will say it again until people get that into their skulls. This is one of the few occasions where I feel because of the story you're telling is necessary. And it does get crazy with it, even to the point of attempted murder, which for an R rating, this movie does not hold back. Unfortunately, she gets out of the situation, and that for me was the more happy part of the movie, when she gets out of that situation. Fight scenes are really well shot for the budget that this has. It's a small budget, but it doesn't really bother me. Fight scenes are really well shot. Everything is focused, it's in the camera. Also have sound mixing and sound design. Shot to, as far as cinematography wise, one of the most beautiful looking films of last year. Edited by Matt Villa. The soundtrack choices are good. The score by Anthony Parmos gives this movie a heartbeat of its own for a story that not many people know. Still don't know because they didn't give the first movie a chance. So shame on your sorry asses, because you missed out on a good movie.
Pathetic motherfucker.
And for the 2 hour and 15 minute long runtime, I stuck through the whole thing by the end, and it felt rewarding to see it. And there is some humor in here that does give you a nice levity to breathe from the abusive angle. With a movie that's this heavy and this intense, you kind of need that type of comedy to breathe. There are a few issues when I do have when it comes to this film. From the pacing in a few spots, it's not bad pacing, but I will say this as brutally honest as I can say it. Some of the pacing can be a little bit tedious in a few spots. There are moments where a few scenes go on for as longer than they need to go on. Some of the characters and some actors are a little bit underutilized, like Katie O'Brien and Merritt Weaver and such. I wanted a little bit more of them, and do think I wish they had a little bit more screen time to go. The last one, I'm just going to be brutally honest here when it comes to it. Because of the subject matter and the abuse that Christy took This is not going to be a movie for everyone, whether you saw it in theaters or not, or missed out on it because people on Twitter or such want to be self-appointed dicks.
Stop! Stop it!
Then go get happy, Linda. Just go get happy.
This is a movie that I think if you can put the last one aside because of the abuse angle, I think you'll be able to get through this movie okay. But it is going to have you feel heavy emotions there. The ultimate question I am going to ask myself here is this. Was I entertained? And what did this movie teach me about this particular person that I never really know until now? Yes, I was entertained, and it did teach me a story about Christy. But it also taught me that if you see someone going through abuse or trying to get out of a situation like that, and they are scared to speak up or ask someone because they're afraid and they feel like they have to take the abuse from someone, tell someone you need help, and they will help you get out of that situation. But you also gotta want to get out of that situation for yourself and not take the abuse in that fight. Overall, Christy isn't going to reinvent the wheel for wrestling films, and considering the track records of box office films with wrestling, it's unfortunate this didn't do as well as it should have. But I think if you're those people who was curious about Sydney Sweeney doing a dramatic role, or if you're a fan of hers, despite everything that's been going on with her and people trying to make her into something that she's not, give it a fair chance. I think you'll actually really like it. I'm serious. Give this a fair chance in your voice and form your own opinion, because fuck the film bros, fuck film Twitter, and fuck cancel culture nonsense trying to cancel Sydney Sweeney over as simple as ads gene. Just let that girl live her life. That's all I'm trying to say. This will be a future cult classic for years to come. Just be prepared for some heavy emotional scenes, moments of abuse, of course. I have to warn you, I have to admit that. And a great performance by one of the more rising talents of Sydney Sweeney. Great film, not gonna be for everyone, but I was surprised that I gave this a watch. And I'm happy that I actually gave this a watch, because this was one of my more anticipated movies of the later half of last year. I will go ahead and give this a better than Vampire Diaries on my rating scale. So, there you are. Comment section down below. What do you guys think of this movie? Christy, are you a fan of Sydney Sweeney? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Or are you somewhere right in the middle? All my social media links are in the description box down below, as well as my Cash App and Chime. If you'd like to send anything from my Amazon wish list, you can do that as well. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give this a 5-star grade. You are. And as always, stay epitastic, join the epitasticness, and you guys keep it cool.